DeFi. What is DeFi? Decentralized finance. Blockchain loves buzzwords. Let's break that down a little bit. Oh, you want to be an accredited investor? You better be making $200,000 a year. Oh, you need funds ASAP? Best I can do is 3 to 5 days. Oh, more relevant recently, your country's at war? Sorry, no withdrawals. Totally suspended. Can't do it. Don't get me wrong. I loved getting lollipops from banks as a kid. However, financial freedom is sweeter. DeFi is all about unleashing the financial system and giving the power back to the people. Okay, we have a certified Mount Rushmore of DeFi for you all today. We're going to give a big Web3 welcome to Hadan Esperidiao from Alex, Tycho of Zest and Trust Machines, who has requested, please leave the room if you don't want to make money. Sungmin Aum, zooming in once again from Zoomland of Stackswap, and Pieter Aerts from Arkadiko. DeFi Mount Rushmore. Give it up for him.
Yes, thank you.
Is it on?
Yeah, it should go over.
Does this work? Yeah, it does. Great. Great. Thanks very much for that intro, Joe. It's great to be here. And yeah, if you don't want to make any APYs, then please head upstairs. Okay. So this is where we'll share all the exciting stuff about how you can yield farm and earn some Bitcoin, some tokens, and learn about what's next for DeFi on Stacks, because there's a lot of exciting things coming. So my name is Tycho. I'm a general manager at Trust Machines, where I build Zest protocol, but I'll be moderating here this afternoon. So we won't be talking so much about that, but we'll be talking about all the exciting DeFi protocols that are live today and how you can use them, right? Because I think earlier we heard a lot of big visions, some great ideas for what can be built, but there's stuff already here, and and there's ways to make money, right? So that's very important. So we'll be talking about three things, right? First, we'll go into what are these DeFi protocols and how do they work, right? Afterwards, we'll go into so what is going to be added to these protocols and what you need to look out for, right? Which sort of big opportunities are going to come for you to come in with liquidity and to yield farm. And then thirdly, what are some cool protocols we'd like to see, right? What are protocols where Arkadiko, Alex, Stackswap would say, that's what we would also use. So yeah, for any builders in the room, then you can get very hopefully inspired and hit us up afterwards to talk about how to get this done. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. Maybe we can do you guys can do some quick introductions and explain in very practical terms, right? What can you do on Arkadiko, on Alex, and on Stackswap? Maybe let's start with Pieter.
Yes, thank you, Tycho. So hello everyone, my name is Pieter. I'm a core contributor at Arkadiko Finance. So we're a stablecoin that enables self-repaying loans. We do this by allowing you to collateralize your Stacks tokens that are being used in proof of transfer, so they're earning that sweet yield through the stacking mechanism. But you can actually use those as collateral in an Arkadiko vault and mint our stablecoin USDA. So that's the Arkadiko stablecoin. And we were actually the first DeFi protocol to launch on the Stacks blockchain, and we were kind of thinking, okay, well, what can we build that others after us can also use, right? And the stablecoin came to mind because the first thing a growing DeFi ecosystem needs is extra liquidity, and we enable that by allowing you to mint the stablecoin on top of your assets, so either Stacks or XBTC. Those are the two assets we support currently.
Amazing. And maybe just for the audience, practically, how does this work? How do I collateralize Stacks assets?
Yeah, sure. So you usually use the Hero web wallet to connect with Arkadiko Finance website.
So you just go to Arkadiko Finance, your website, right?
Arkadiko.finance, then press the Connect wallet, or it brings you to our app. And there you can open a vault. You can deposit some Stacks. You can choose if you want them stacking or not. That's also a possibility to just have them in there, have them be liquid, because if they're stacking, you kind of have to wait until the stacking cycle is done for you to withdraw them. So if you want to be more flexible, you don't want to stack, you don't want that yield, you just want USDA. There's also the possibility to do that. Yeah, so you open a vault, you select how much collateral you want to deposit, you select how much USDA you want to mint, and then you make a transaction opening that vault. You do have to monitor the collateralization ratio, make sure it stays healthy, otherwise your collateral is going to get sold. Yeah, and then you have USDA, and there's a bunch of stuff that you can do with that. On the Arkadiko platform, you can enter one of the liquidity pools, provide liquidity there, earn the Deco governance token that way. We've got some exciting things coming up for USDA as well, but for now, that's what we're doing.
Good. We'll leave it at that, and then so that's for the next section. What's coming? But first, let's learn more about Alex from Hadan.
Hi, my name is Hadan. I'm the community growth lead with the Alex Foundation. And Alex is essentially the first complete or full service DeFi protocol for Bitcoin through Stack smart contracts. So in a practical way, how can you use Alex now? If you have a Hero wallet and you have some Stacks or XBTC, you can log on to Alex at app.alexlab.co. The first thing that you'll note is that we have a DEX with relatively deep liquidity. Both our
And that's where you can swap tokens, right?
Exactly. So both our STX Alex as well as STX XBTC pools currently have between 15 to 20 million at any given point in time. When you use a DEX, of course, you pay a small transaction fee. On the other side of that fee, because this is DeFi, so there's no intermediary, are our liquidity providers. So when you provide liquidity, you basically submit equal value amounts of 2 tokens to these pools. And in exchange, you receive a small share of those, you receive a share of those trading platform fees. On Alex right now, as we're still a relatively young DeFi protocol, we're only about 10 weeks out. And it's important when the DeFi protocol launches to incentivize liquidity providers to come on board. And so we have very exciting APRs for our Alex stakers, as well as for our yield farmers. And yield farmer basically means that you are staking your liquidity pool tokens. So you're locking them up for a period of time. Those rewards are typically above 100% APR at the moment. And you receive them as both Alex token, which is our utility and governance token, as well as A-Power. And A-Power is a non-tradable and non-transferable token that provides access to IDOs on Alex, which then leads me to the third functionality that we have, which is our Ido Launch Pad, which basically connects emerging Stacks projects with our core community. Because, again, only holders of A-Power can participate in these IDOs, new projects that come to launch on Alex are assured that we're not just connecting you with anyone or just any casual user. We're only connecting you with people who have a proven track record of being stakers, of being yield farmers, of being long-term holders. And so, for instance, just less than 2 weeks ago we IDO'd the first NFT on Stacks, the Bitcoin Monkeys project. The IDO was over 29 times oversubscribed. And in total, there were over 14,000 IDO tickets. And we redesigned our launchpad after our own IDO to be a hybrid on-chain, off-chain. And we were able to process those 14,000 tickets in 8 Stacks blocks. So in under 2 hours, all allocations of bananas were sent, all Alex refunds were sent. An hour later, the Alex banana pool opened up. And so, it went very smoothly, and we are in discussions already with exciting upcoming projects for the next IDO on Alex and on Stacks.
Amazing, great to hear. And then we also have, I'm not sure if you can, yeah, you can. We also have joining us from the metaverse, or from Korea, I believe, is Sungmin from Stackswap. So Sungmin, do you want to give a quick intro and tell everyone in maybe 1 minute what you can do on Stackswap?
Hello, everyone. Very glad to be able to join, at least over Zoom. My COVID is almost over, but it's probably still positive.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah. So Stackswap is, as the name suggests, we're DEX, and first and probably the only permissionless exchange in Stacks. And we have the most number of coins since we are open. And you can buy and sell tokens such as New York coin or Miami coin, or there are a bunch of community created tokens you could also trade. And you could earn reward from parking assets such as farming and staking, and earn transaction fee for providing liquidity, like standard functions. But one thing that's a bit peculiar about our exchange is that we made it easy to create and launch token. Maybe simple like step 10 or slightly more complex, like PX Lite, similar to the of Citicoin. So anyone without programming skill can just launch their own token, create it, and list it on an exchange within one transaction. As you are all probably aware, Stacks by design is not designed to be too fast, so this kind of helps saving a lot of pain if you want to test out a lot of things and launch your own DeFi project on a marketplace. And among many, 030 DAO recently launched their own token without much of our support. Their own, like about a week ago, and they reached 100K at TBL in like a couple of days. And for me, it's a really significant number because this number is created by a community, and a bunch of people participating, and people who believe in their own project. So, and we would like to see more of these projects taking advantage of what we have laid out and have more success through us.
Fantastic. No, great. And then well, one quick note maybe to the technical team. It would be great if we somehow could see the time that we have left also on the screen. I'm not sure if that's possible or where I would need to look for that. But just to see how long we're already in, and if we can cover everything. But just to quickly recap. So we have Stackswap, right? You can launch tokens, you can swap tokens, right? Then we've got Alex. You can swap tokens, you can launch tokens, and soon you can also do lending and borrowing, right? On Alex. On Hyperchain. And then we have Arkadiko, and you can mint a stablecoin, right? Now, very practically, right? Like what kind of APYs do you have for us? What can we make? Maybe one by one. Just like what are the APYs you have, and how do you get those? How do you get that interest?
Yeah, so the main pools that we are incentivizing on Arkadiko Swap. So there's also decentralized exchange functionality built into Arkadiko. Frankly, because when we're launching Arkadiko at the end of October, there wasn't an exchange around, so we really had to create this functionality ourselves. In the meanwhile, Stackswap and Alex have also launched the same functionality, which is great. So we're mainly incentivizing USDA-based pairs, so Stacks USDA, XBTC USDA, and then our own governance token.
And how much?
Yeah, it kind of fluctuates between 50 and 150% depending on which pool. Yeah.
It's pretty good. So Hadan, what do you have for us?
Sure. So the pool that we incentivize most as far as protocol rewards would be the Stacks Alex pool. Now, of course, with every reward cycle, it's a variable rate of return. It depends on how many people are participating. But I think at the moment, at the current cycle, it's about 350%. And then over the broader term, around 500%. We also have Alex staking. I believe the APY is there. And again, log on to our app.alexlab.co farm page to see what they are. But for Alex staking, I think it's around 200, 250%. And the STX XBTC pool, which is the pool with the most established pair of tokens, obviously, at the moment has likely the lowest yield, that maybe around like 150% to 200% APR. But again, expect this to go down as the protocol grows. These rewards are distributed over a greater base, and so it's an early bird special, so to say. So
that makes sense. So to give Pieter some props as well, when they launched, the APYs are much higher as well there. Right. But so we have We have about 50 to 150. We have about 350% on Alex today. Sungmin, what can we make on Stackswap very concretely?
Right now, I see the number on STX Stackswap farm is 466%. It does fluctuate, and we, like Hadan just mentioned, it's kind of norm to have this APR drops over time as we have more users participating, but we found a solution around it by allowing community to participate and launch their token pool at the same time, do the same like a co-farming with their token as an incentive along with ours, which will be launching very soon. We've been testing smart contract for a while now. So when that happens, the APR will be much higher, I'll say, upward of 800,000. And I think that's the only way to sustain it. If we continuously pumping out our reward, there's only so much we can do, right? So we need constant influx of a new project coming in and tossing out their token as additional reward. And yeah, that's the direction we're going.
No, makes sense. So that's also a note for everyone, right? DeFi is risky. That's why you get rewarded, right? Yes. So that's an important one to note. So okay, so we now know kind of how this works. We know what's up for grabs. Now, what's going to come in the future? What do people need to look out for, right? Which opportunities will open soon that we all got to be aware of? Maybe Pieter, to start with you.
Yes, certainly. So we're launching a couple of interesting things. One of it is a dual yield farming pool on Alex. I maybe let Hadan go into that a bit more. So something we've definitely been looking for is more utility for USDA, right? So we're a collateralized stablecoin, but what else can you do than providing liquidity on Arkadiko swap right now? So we always wanted to be this building block for other protocols to use and integrate, so we could just focus on the stablecoin aspect and have others have that tool available for them if they want to build a protocol. So it's great to see Alex adopting USDA in some sense. We're also launching a liquidation fund. So as you may know, collateralizing your stacks doesn't come without any risk in our vaults. If the price of stacks declines too much, then you could be liquidated, meaning your collateral in the vault gets sold in an auction, basically an auction that everyone can participate in. But now we're going to make it very easy for people to just pool their USDA, basically stake it in a liquidation fund, and then we'll run the logistics in the background to make sure that vaults are correctly liquidated and that the discount that you get, because you get a 10% discount on all the collateral you're buying in these type of auctions, that's an opportunity that all the Arkadiko community members can use.
And how much can we expect in the liquidation staking?
Yeah, it really depends on how the price goes. How these things work, usually if the price sharply declines, then a lot of liquidations happen at the same time, and then perhaps a few weeks after that, there aren't that many liquidations. So we're incentivizing with our emissions also the placing of capital in that liquidation fund. So it will definitely be a good opportunity to yield farm, and I would say the first single-sided staking of a stablecoin on Stacks to farm yield with. So yeah, very excited about that. I also think Hadan.
That's very exciting. The single-sided staking of a stablecoin sounds very technical, but it basically means you can just put dollars somewhere, right? And then you make interest. You don't have to buy any other tokens, right? It's a bit like it's not like a bank account, but it's maybe the closest thing to a bank account that we have on this stage. So, Hadan.
Sure. So coming up on the short term on Alex is, I'm excited to announce, I don't know if it's later today or within the next 24 to 48 hours, we recently tweeted out the block height, but we'll be opening up the first dual yield token pool on Stacks, which will be the USDA Alex pool, which will allow liquidity pool of farmers, so yield farmers to earn Deco token, Alex, as well as A-Power, which again is our access token to IDOs.
Any expectation of sort of what the APYs will be of that?
I think those discussions have been occurring while I've been here, so I can't refer at the moment, but I'm excited to know myself. But
you just got to follow you on Twitter, and then we'll know, right?
Exactly, right. Near the end of the month, we should also be onboarding wrapped USDC as XUSD. That'll be done through TokenSoft with Anchorage as the custodial solution. And that'll be very exciting because it increases the financial inclusivity of Alex. It allows all these USDC holders to be able to be onboarded as well. And that also creates a very exciting opportunity, which is that we'll soon have the first stable swap on Stacks, which will be USDA XUSD. And although that might sound a bit boring, like a stable swap, like who cares? This is actually really fundamental to DeFi. Because stable coins are designed to more or less hold their value, there's very, very minimal slippage costs or transaction costs in going from USDC to USDA. And so you're easily able to transition your capital back and forth. And also, if you think about it from the perspective of a liquidity provider, if you want a place where you can park your capital, right? This is a great place to do it. Why? Because the biggest risk to a liquidity provider is impermanent loss, which is when the relative value of the two assets in the liquidity pool change relative to one another. Since with a stable swap, both of these tokens are supposed to hold their value very, very closely, then you're almost minimizing the risk of a permanent loss. Of course, I'll never say anything is completely riskless. And meanwhile, you can earn those liquidity pool fees. You can earn the yield farming incentives. So that's also another big one. Also coming up soon will be Auto Alex, which will be an auto compounding token.
What, HODL Alex? No, wait, what did you say?
Sorry, Auto Alex, automatic Alex. Because right now, once at the end of every cycle, you have to manually harvest and restake your rewards. And so to make that a bit more frictionless, we're introducing an auto compounding token, which people will be able to swap into and out of. There'll be a DEX, Auto Alex, Alex. Auto Alex will be able to be used as collateral in the future as well. And as mentioned before, we're in the midst of discussions with other emerging Stacks projects for IDOs on our launch pad. So.
Oh, that's great. So we've got some other exciting opportunities there, because like maybe if you've noticed or if you've staked on Alex, right, you need to then come to the site, claim your rewards, put it back in, but this will sort of solve that. And then the other one is the stable swap, where you can basically put USDA and XUSD, which is basically, well, the idea is it's dollars, right? And you can just put them there, and then you can earn a yield, right?
Right.
So.
And that's what we're looking at in the short term, relatively the next month. Looking a bit further ahead, really since its inception, the crown jewel of Alex has been that we're going to offer borrow lend without risk of liquidation through dynamic collateral rebalancing pools, which, if you're interested in, we have YouTube videos on it. It's our second white paper. But in order to launch that functionality, we require the scalability of the hyperchain. So that will be launched on the hyperchain mainnet. Alongside that, we'll also be adding order book DEX, which is also very exciting because people can then place limit orders. This also enables NFT auctions, which are also very exciting. It'll facilitate us providing margin trading, so people have leverage, which increases the efficiency of the ecosystem as well. And so even looking down the road, there are several exciting projects coming
Great
up.
stuff. So this is only the next month, right? That's that to remember. But, yeah. Okay. Right. And Sungmin, what's coming up for Stackswap? What exciting opportunities are you going to be adding?
Yeah, I think everyone's heading towards similar directions, such as automatic farming, more assets, diverse reward, derivative. So, because it makes sense, it's kind of like, like a textbook use case of a DeFi and all the other blockchains. So it's only natural that we all head towards similar direction. I guess the difference would be that we're taking more of a community-driven approach. So, for example, rather than having a specific, say, for example, dual farming, we're more toward supporting, letting other just grassroots projects to do it themselves. Just come in and, do it without our permission or discussion. And one, I guess, interesting part will be that there will be token bridge over Ethereum and other EVM-based blockchain upon release of Hyperchain, and also before that, and we'll be the first to test that with OSIS, which is locally based. We're like 2 minutes away, because we need quick discussion when it starts, right? When you're testing. So when that happens, a ton of that new asset will be bridged over, such as like USDT or whatever else is available in other blockchain. And we're fairly excited for that because, well, you know, they'll naturally allow the stable pair to enjoy much more sizable liquidity than what's available, what can be available in the stacks right now. So that's the next step. And also another peculiar thing could be we issue this NFT pass for active users, like a gold pass, silver pass. The holders of these tokens will be rewarded periodically of the new token that gets launched on our project. So they just, you know, get more and early exposure to the projects that's been coming in. So that's another thing that we're looking into. And of course, once the Hyperchain gets here, order book, futures, all that goodies will come live very soon.
Great stuff, great stuff. So we have about 6 minutes left for questions. So in case anyone has a burning question they want to ask, then
See Louise there?
Luis. Can we get a mic to the? Oh, yeah, fantastic. Such service. Luis, go ahead.
I want some Zest deals first, but now I have a question. I think when it comes to DeFi, probably a lot of people in the room, I think it's hard to get in, right? Like people don't know what impermanent loss is. How do I fuck open a vault? That's like a question, right? Like, what do I do with USDA? So what are the things that maybe Arkadiko, Zest protocol, or like Alex is doing to actually bring more users to the platform? Like, it's tough. It's not like I go in there, it's like I click a few buttons, it's done. You know, it's quite difficult, right? That was the question.
All right, do you want to take it, Hadan?
Sure, I'll take a crack at it. Document I've been working on is how to take someone who's completely new to DeFi and introduce them to the concept. I mean, this is obviously something that I deal with family and friends all the time about, you know, like just what is it that you're working on? So one way I go about it is what I call the Alex 1, 2, 3, which are 3 steps to grasping DeFi on Bitcoin. Step 1 is you have to have an understanding that Bitcoin is money, and that Bitcoin is the ultimate form of money. And why is that the case? Because the money that you think is secure in your bank account can be frozen and confiscated at any time. The money that's in your wallet, it says property of the US government, and it's being inflated away. And keep in mind that inflation is a form of financial violence from borrowers onto savers. Step 2 is understanding that Stacks makes Bitcoin into programmable money. Introducing smart contracts increases or extends the potential of Bitcoin. It allows us to progressively build an entire new internet, create these very sophisticated applications. And step 3 is that DeFi is a collection of these smart contract programs that allow you to put your crypto or Bitcoin to work. It allows you to define the time value of your crypto and Bitcoin. You know, the title of the panel is, you know, Degen-ing, which quite honestly just means taking risk. Ultimately, there is no reward without risk in one way or another. And I think Bitcoin DeFi is about unlocking the hundreds of billions of dollars that are currently parked in Bitcoin wallets and waking them up to the possibility that through finance, it really has a revolutionary potential to really establish a new financial system altogether, one that's that in the hands and control of the people, rather than these centralized entities that arbitrarily set these rates and inflate away the money that we work so hard to earn.
No, thanks for that. So that's coming soon. This guide you said. So that.
Oh yeah. It's been a work in progress.
Good.
But yeah, as a part of our community building efforts, it's messaging that I've been just bouncing off of people.
And one of the things is like there are such active communities as well, right? In around this. So if you have any questions interacting with these things, just head into their Discords. You will find people who can help you with that. And as well, when you use Arkadiko, there's a whole fantastic onboarding steps process there that sort of guides you to all the big buttons and what to click on and what to not click on. So good. We have time for one more question. If someone has a burning question for us, that we see a hand there. Should we? Yeah. I'll just pass you my mic if it's.
Hi. I'm curious about your thoughts on creating a true stable, non-inflationary token within our ecosystem that would be something like pegged to a basket of food, for example, that would move with inflation. I think that would be something very powerful that I don't know if it's available in other ecosystems that could make a difference.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of this idea floating around. Maybe, I mean, we have to ask the stablecoin guys, right?
Yeah, that's a very interesting idea there. I do think that the infrastructure is not really there yet. On top of my head, I think what you need is like oracles being able to determine the price of food from outside, and then somebody who's taking the other side of the trade and kind of provides that liquidity in that kind of derivative asset. So I think it's a very nice, cool idea, but I think it's very complex and maybe a bit too complex for the stage that we're currently at in Stacks DeFi. Yeah, so that would be my answer.
And maybe one thing to look at is like actually Frax on Ethereum has been experimenting with this. It's like FRAX. So if you have a look there, you'll probably find more exciting stuff.
And just to piggyback on that, just on mentioning oracles, I would say part of our wish list for Stacks going forward, one would be having decentralized oracles such as the Chainlink come onto Stacks. Another again is seeing the hyperchain come live. And also, it would be great, we believe, in a cross-chain future. We want to be able to onboard people across crypto who are interested in settling on Bitcoin to be able to do so through Alex. And so greater cross-chain functionality, which a lot of great projects are working on, from Satoshiables to Bitcoin monkeys to Megapont, will be fantastic to see.
Yeah. That's maybe a good note to end on, right? Like sort of collecting all of that. What will be the big unlocks to really take DeFi on Stacks much further? It's hyperchains, it's native Bitcoin integration, right? Some stuff that we're also working on with Zest protocol. It's bridges, right? Also that Sungmin mentioned, and then there's a bunch of ideas for protocols that we also have that could power us. We didn't get to it today, but things that we would definitely use. So if you're interested and you're a builder, definitely just come find us. And we can bounce some ideas off of each other, and you can find the next exciting thing to build, and then be here on stage next time we have this kind of talk. So good. I think we've hit time. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck making. Good. Oh, I can't say anything anymore. I think no. No? Yes?
Yes, you are.
Oh, I'm still on. Okay. Well, good luck. Good luck making APYs, right? That was the end.
Okay.